Welcome to the For Real Though Show, the podcast with the purpose for the people. So, chopping it up the other day with my girl Shonte, as you can see here, who's our special guest, and we were talking about some things about that was going on in the news. I was like, yo, I gotta do this thing in the news, man. And she's like, yo, can I get in on that? And I'm like, cool, no problem. So she's here as our special guest for two reasons. Number one is because she wanted to get in and talk about this news, but also a very big deal for the For Real Though show is we have our first sponsor. Our first sponsor, can you believe that? We've been on for 2 years and finally got somebody that believe in us. So what's the name of the sponsor? There it is on the cup. It's called Queso.
Queso. Chris laughing, y'all. He said, hey, you want to be a sponsor? I said, yeah, I want to be a sponsor. Then he started talking about all the cool stuff he was going to talk about without me. And then I was like, Chris, babe, can I please be on the show? He's like, nah, you can't be on the show. And I was like, I'll pay for the sponsorship. He was like, yeah, girl, you want to be on the show?
Yeah, oh, God. Yeah. Well, you know,
she
talk all that shit because she family. And that's what family do. They come in, they open up the refrigerator and go through all your shit. They put their feet up on your couch. They change the channel on your remote. You know what I mean? They just, that's what family do.
Girl Scout cookies, you know, they don't eat the shortbreads. They eat the thin mints out the freezer.
They eat the best of the best. Yeah. They eat the best of the best. Don't even ask. They just stick your hand in there. So before we get to some news topics, and we got so many topics. I don't even know if we're gonna get through them all. But before we get to our topics, we want to talk about your business, our first sponsor, Queso What? So talk to us.
Queso What? I should wear my t-shirt. I didn't even think about it, but Prince, always takes precedent. So if you're in St. Louis, we started a new business called Queso What? And we call it Queso What because it's not a quesadilla. What it is a gourmet quesadilla. If you ever picked up a gourmet quesadilla that had marinated Caribbean oxtails in it, jerk chicken, Philly cheesesteak. You can have chicken Philly if you want to. You can have buffalo chicken, buffalo shrimp. What else do I have? The queso C, which is your favorite, with salmon and shrimp and spinach. All of the proteins are marinated for at least a day and a half. It takes a week to cook the insides. It takes a few minutes to cook a quesadilla, but then it has 5 different cheeses. Specialized sauces that I worked really hard on that you can dip it in if you want to, but I don't even dip my stuff in the sauce. But if you want to make it extra good, then you dip it in the sauce. So it's not a quesadilla, it's a queso what? When you eat it, you'll be like, queso what? That's what it is. Come see me.
Let me tell you something. We was over at her house. We were about 19 deep taste testing. And a few months ago, and it was off the chain. We were just eating up everything, tasting this. What's this one called? So I think we was cool with the what's this one called for like the first couple. After that, we was just eating. You know what I mean? Like she was asking us to give feedback. We had to write notes on the card and stuff, what we liked, what we didn't like. She wanted total honesty because she wanted to give the people what they want. So, so no, it was good. And you've also had a couple of events already sold out. Every last one of them.
Yeah.
Every last one of them. So no, she's got some great things coming out, man. Definitely pulling for her. There's no doubt she's gonna be a success. She's got great people around there. She's got a great product.
Thank you.
Let them know how they can get to you. How they can get you. I know you got some stuff coming up with the social media and everything, but where can they find you now?
Well, I'm doing a pop-up this Sunday, so I usually pop up every other week. But you can go on Facebook at Queso What? At Queso What? Instagram, Queso_what, WHAAT people. And you'll find me, or you could just follow me on Facebook, Shonte Harmony Young, or Instagram, YS_the Shonte, THE. Someone said I'm an anomaly. So put the in front of it. So or holler at me, 314-341-7734. I do events. So if you want to call me, I'll come up to your spot when you got your people, and I could just whip up quesadillas to order, and everybody can sample all of them, Give me a call. And thank you so much, Chris, for your support, because you did give very honest feedback. And if y'all don't know Chris, tell the truth. We don't care about hurting your feelings. But what it does is it helps you be better. If you can't take criticism, you can't be better. So I thank you very much.
And for the record, I do care about hurting your feelings, but there's always a way to say the truth without hurting people's feelings.
I'll figure that one out later when I'm 51.
You don't care about her views. You get me
Not a
mixed
half
up with
of
you,
a fuck,
sister.
not a piece of a fuck.
So, yo, before we get started, so I just want to talk about some items in the news, and I wanted to, a lot of times when I see news items, I just kind of take them in. Sometimes I got an opinion on them right away, and sometimes I just kind of let them sink in. And then, my expressions are normally a lot more nuanced than what you see out there. And so it's just on my heart to share, what I felt. And when I was talking to Shonte about that episode, she wanted to do the same thing. So I said, hey, let's just, I would love to hear your ideas. We haven't talked about any of these things yet. We haven't discussed any of our ideas. So it's all going to be organic and fresh. And we're going to start our topic off with Ketanji Brown Jackson. Did you see any of the confirmation hearings?
So I've seen parts of it because I work right at the worst times during all of that. And I don't have like the hours and hours to spend, but I've watched all the highlights, and I've watched some of the more, the calmer, questions, but yeah, I've seen it. And my mama said back in the day that back in the 90s, that the internet is the devil. And she said that because then everybody gets to say what they want, do what they want, do a Sodom and Gomorrah kind of situation with it. So everybody has an opinion, and everybody thinks their opinion is valid in the sense that I can be disrespectful. I can say these things. And the rise of Donald Trump has allowed stupid motherfuckers. Can I cuss on? Yeah, I can cuss on. Stupid motherfuckers. Yes. To really think that their opinion matters. And now these stupid motherfuckers have been elected to the highest offices in the nation, one of which is Josh Hawley from Missouri, to say the outlandish shit and ask the most outlandish questions. And we sit here as regular people and be like, are they really asking this bright, articulate, educated woman this dumbass question? Are they really? And then get indignant when they don't get the response, the dumbass response. I don't even know what response they're expecting, but then get indignant when they are met with, that's crazy as hell. So yes, so the short answer is yes and no. I couldn't do it. I ain't gonna lie.
So the first thing I thought was, because my mind is a little goofy that way. I'm sorry, you just went vertical on me. I don't know if you could tell.
Did I go vertical? Okay, hold on. Let me see what happened. But go ahead. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
So the first thing I thought, now you back. Okay. So the first thing I thought was, this is what Barack Obama should have done. When he had the opportunity to put a Black woman on the highest court in the land, he should have done that. He was advised that he should have done that. And in spite of the Turtle Man's, shit talking at the time about what he wasn't going to do, a lot of us, you included, if I'm not mistaken, felt that, you know what, put a qualified Black woman up there and let him turn her down. Let him explain to America why he's not going to give her a hearing, why he won't speak to her, why she can't come to the office, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And instead, he puts this mark on Merrick Garland.
That's a good word. Thank you. That's so nice.
And so I don't know if this cat, you saw what they did to him, but I don't know. I haven't seen, Merrick Garland ain't showed me shit, to be honest with you. Even as the head of the Department of Justice, he ain't showed me shit. Everybody's local, January 6th committee, everything that's going on. I heard Ellie Mustal say the other day, they were talking about this subject, he goes, you don't want to wake up Merrick Garland because he's sleepy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know what the fuck he there for. I mean, if Bill Barr was President Trump's personal lawyer, I don't know who the fuck Merrick Garland worked for, because it ain't the American people. That's the first thing. The second thing I thought that was really cool, well, at first they was talking about having a sister that didn't go to an Ivy League, which I thought there's some merit to that. But I think with it being the first, just like everything with Black people, we have to be so over the top perfect that, you have to just smash them in spades. You know what I'm saying? You got to get the big joker on their ass. Pow! You know what I'm saying? put the big joke on their ass, and then they can say shit, but they really can't say shit. You know.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and this is probably unpopular. I'm probably gonna catch hell for it, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but when you said that perfection, that's almost perfect, that I don't know if y'all noticed, but Kamala Harris and her have white husbands.
Mm-hmm.
And there is nothing wrong with having a white husband because Ketanji's husband kind of fine too. He's easy on the eyes. I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of fine.
He got that beard going. Yeah. Salt pepper, yeah.
That's salt and pepper. You know I got to think of salt and pepper. But it's just, I found it just very interesting that the first Black women don't have Black husbands. Mm-hmm. And that's not any shade on them as Black women at all. And it's not any shade on their accomplishments. And maybe the pool of Black men at that level might not be as wide. But I think in the eyes of the American people, it seems to be more acceptable. I am so glad Ketanji's a darker skinned woman, because Kamala is a lighter, fair skinned, actually biracial, is a biracial woman with a white husband. So that seems more acceptable, like, okay, we can slide her in from an American psyche, not from Shonte's psyche, but from an American psyche. Okay, we can slide her in because she kind of sort of, maybe. And Ketanji being darker skinned, she still had that white husband. And I think that was not lost on Joe Biden. And nothing. That chick is dope and bright and wonderful and awesome. But I know that white man in his mind saw that other white man and was like, okay, yeah, on her merits, yeah. If she had a Black husband, I think he would have paused a little bit. No matter if he was a truck driver or an Ivy League university professor, I think he would have paused a little bit and maybe done something they would deem safer. But I think that her having that white husband was a factor in solidifying, like, okay, yeah, maybe they'll buy her then. She perfect, and she went and got her a white man. Am I wrong for saying that?
No, you're not wrong for saying it. I think, that's the thing about this show is for nuanced conversation. So, we're all about ideas and because you can't really get to the crux of stuff if you're not willing to dig deep. I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about that because the man is not on the Supreme Court. So I may be naive for thinking about that, not thinking about it. Matter of fact, initially, I didn't know her husband was white until somebody told me. And that was after the hearing.
He was white till he kissed that forehead. He was cute in the mud.
See what I'm saying? So we really didn't, I really don't know. I wonder if she was married to a Black man, he may have come up under a whole lot of scrutiny. They may have tried to find some shit on him. Was he ever arrested? Was he ever pulled over? That might have been some shit to it. But I'm sure they still investigate her husband one way or the other. One thing that, like you said, I think I'll just mention this for a minute, and then we're going to take a quick break. So I was talking to somebody last week, and they were like, they talking to some other guy, and he was like, yeah, her husband white, and then Kamala Harris husband white. They were saying it like it was an indictment on them or something. It's not. And I was just like, well, I tend not to listen to that. I mean, that's really bullshit because you don't know a person's background. You don't know who they went to school with, who they was around.
Absolutely.
I always think about Dennis Rodman, for instance. Dennis Rodman, remember he used to date Carmen Electra and all of them, and they would be like, yeah, Dennis Rodman, he don't never have no sister with him, but Dennis Rodman was the first. Dennis Rodman first one to say, well, I want a Black woman. Black woman told me I was ugly. Black woman told me I was goofy. They ain't want to have nothing to do with Dennis Rodman. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't know anybody's journey, and to me, I know to you too, but you were talking about from an acceptable perspective because you from
a white acceptable perspective, right, not from Black folks, because we don't care.
For people who don't know, for people who don't know, Shonte is in politics, so she used to be an alder person. She's very established and learned on politics, polls, what moves people, what it takes to win. So that's the perspective she's speaking of.
Absolutely.
My perspective is just, my perspective when I heard people criticizing that is if she's less black or she's less authentic. I mean, the sister got on braids up in the baby. You know what I'm
I thought
saying?
they were sister locks. I thought they were sister locks.
Whatever the hell they was.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, a guy, sister locks, braids. I'm a guy, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? All I know is her shit was like this. You know what I'm saying? Her shit wasn't straight. Her shit wasn't curl. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't rocking no dang curl shit. You know what I'm saying? She was rocking some shit that sounded like her name could be Ketanji Brown.
Yeah. No, and again, I'm not speaking as a black woman. I'm not at all, because like I said, the brother look good though. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just speaking from a white male perspective, because I genuinely believe, and Hillary Clinton could probably agree with me, that America is more sexist than they are racist. And so in order to digest this woman, they saw this white man next to her. This is white America. This ain't people like us, because we just happy to see her there. Like Cory Booker said, we over here clapping and hollering and shit. But from a more digestible perspective of moderate white men, to see this white man be her husband, I think makes it more digestible for them, and for that one that flips. I can't even think of his name. That Democrat, that bullshit Democrat who flips all the time. Yeah, Manchin. And he said he was going to support her. You know, it was more digestible for him. That's what I'm saying. Let me clarify, because you know they'll get on you for that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I guess before we take our break, so I guess and they figured that if she had a black husband up there, he might have went up there and slapped Ted Cruz. Is that what you're saying? On that note, we're going to take a break, y'all. We'll be back in a few minutes. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. We're back with you at the For Real Though Show, now brought to you by Queso.
I have to put on lip gloss, y'all. Put headphone in. Go ahead.
Yo, so before we move on to other topics, man, you know, I ain't finished with this Supreme Court thing yet. The other thing I noticed was some of these questions, man. You know, like there were certain people, like, you know, I mean, I hate to give these people energy, but I think that they were so stellar in their bitch assery that they must be mentioned by name.
No shit.
Like you mentioned Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, Lindsay. Oh, Lindsay, just Lindsay.
Closeted homosexual. What about the one chick?
you know who would do a great Lindsey Graham impression is the guy I forget his name, but he does the Instagram videos. He's from Texas, the white guy with the
yeah, I don't know.
Somebody gonna know. You've seen him before.
I'm not big on Instagram.
But anyway, so no, I was just tripping off of how obsessed they were with child pornography. You know what I mean? So it's like, so you had a case. Let's see. You had a case that was, you know, it was a whole bunch of little boys sucking each other little boys off, and little this and other little girls, and it was the worst ever. And I don't want to get into the details, but it was a lot of sucking and fucking, and a lot of, you know,
tell me about it? What did they do?
Yeah, you know, let's talk about these details again. You know what I'm saying? Like little boys with the clothes off, little girls with the little titties out. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, y'all obsessed with this shit. Like
they under the table like, doing like this.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm going to hell. Sorry, geez.
I was like, damn, that killed me. Oh, and one of them even called her articulate. Wasn't that wonderful?
You know, when my kids was little, when we'd be in the grocery store, white people would walk up to us and say, "Oh my gosh, your children are so well behaved." Like, what the fuck was they supposed to be? I'm just curious. Like, was they supposed to be little banshees like little Johnny?
Little banshees just running around.
I'm so confused about what you're saying. And I felt like, so that's that same thing. So every time people say that about Black folks, that you're articulate, like it's a shocking thing, or that your children are well behaved or intelligent, it's like, oh, for niggers, niggers.
For a nigger, yeah, you're pretty good for a nigger. Yeah, so that was tripping me out. But then, so before, but Cory Booker brought it home. He brought it home.
He
Cory
did.
Booker was the ultimate, like he was like the church deacon. You know what I'm
He
saying?
did.
He
He
came in
did.
like, and you know, the only thing that I got a problem with Cory Booker is for some reason, he keeps Tim Scott's name in his mouth as if Tim Scott is some sort of partner in crime or some sort of brother that can identify with racism. He says something about it. He was like, yeah, Tim Scott knows this. You know, and I'm like, why are you Tim
Why you
Scott
gotta
has
invoke
fucked you
white folks
over.
every time?
He done fucked you over so many times and use all your little credibility thinking that he was gonna be a real soul brother at the end of the day, that you will be able to have some sort of compromise with him on police reform. And he done fucked him over every single time. So while I admire his optimism, it just seems like it's beyond common sense. That being said, he came in like the church deacon. He was just like, hey, you know what? All this bullshit here that they doing to you,
Girl,
don't even
you
fucking worry
the
about it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be sporting that black robe. You're going to be sitting up there with the other 8. You're going to be cold
and you
chilling.
supposed to be the girl.
You're gonna be fucking up Clarence Thomas because he's gonna be mad. Speaking of Clarence.
Yeah, I cried a
Speaking of
little.
Clarence.
When she started crying, I got a little emotional about it. I was like, girl, you know, because I guess, you know, as black folks, but as a black woman, you know, to have to sit there and take that shit and to be spoken down to by people who are so beneath you. Like her credentials outweigh all them other Supreme Court justices already that are put together. She is everything. And then to be talked down to like she to help, or to be talked down to like this is some kind of affirmative action kind of thing. This is why I'm not ever gonna go foreign politics, because I will come across the table and fuck you up or cuss you out. For her to do it and to be so composed, I know black folks understand, but people don't understand like the level of restraint that it takes not to do this. Now she did have a black girl face, you know, like you stupid motherfuckers.
She had a couple of them for Ted. She had for Raphael. She had a couple of them for Raphael, who identified himself as a Latino, by the way. I don't know.
Not Raphael, not Ted.
Yeah, Raphael was like, I'm a Latino man. I'm like, that's the first time I heard that.
I ain't never heard him say it.
While he was talking, I know she was thinking to herself, I don't know. Maybe during those cases, I should have just went to Cancun instead. But watching people like Josh Hawley, especially, I had that impression, like you said, that he was so intimidated by her accomplishments, her brain, her accomplishments, what she's done, that this was like his one chance to try to throw shade, you know what I mean? And be disrespectful in a way that could pass, that passes for hard questions about your record. You know what I mean? That's what they call it. But you know, that's what they call it, but we know it's something else. But before we get on to the next subject, Jenny Thomas. Jenny. Please tell me you've heard about Jenny.
When you said Jenny Thomas, I'm like, who the fuck is Jenny Thomas? And then I had to look it up. Her name Virginia. Stop calling that woman Jenny.
They call her Jenny. They call her Jenny. They call her Jenny. I'm saying they call her Jenny. So for those who don't know, for those of you who don't know, as this January 6th committee convenes and they're doing their investigations, come to find out, old Virginia, okay, I'm gonna call her by our proper government name. Okay, Virginia Thomas, okay, was all on her during January 6th. She was all on her MAGA, you know, QAnon bullshit, talking to Mark Meadows. Oh, you can't hear me?
I couldn't hear you. The Zoom meeting got muted.
Oh, you straight?
I'm good, because start back over, because her name is Virginia.
That's cool, because you know we don't edit here at the For Real Though show. We just give it to you raw and organic. You know what I'm saying? Raw dog without a bag. Anyway, so you know we have mess-ups and technological stuff that happens. Anyway, so Virginia Thomas was all on January 6th. We found out she was on her MAGA QAnon bullshit. Full-throated, as a matter of fact, talking about how you know they need to stop the steal. Mark Meadows they need to get Mike Pence in line, and this is like the greatest tragedy of all time. You standing up, being a great American, protect us patriots and shit like that, right? And she was even talking about how she was going to talk to her best friend, and her best friend, who happens to be Clarence Thomas. See, some of y'all go allegedly because they have to do that. I don't have to fucking go allegedly. I'm just going to say what it is because the shit is out there. So her man was the only one that voted not to disclose these January 6th records.
There it is.
And you know what?
Just because her name probably all up in that bitch.
So you know what? So again, the way I think, because again, we're talking nuanced conversations, and my brain just works a little differently than other people's. So the first thing I thought is I never did like Clarence Thomas, like from the beginning, but I had to think about his wife and him, and I thought to myself, what the fuck in the get out is going on in their house? Like, what does their household look like? That's what I thought. Okay, because she's
really?
You
thought that?
I'm thinking, I'm thinking like in their house, in their relationship. Obviously, she runs it. That much we do know. She runs it. But I'm like, I wonder, do they just sit around and talk about niggas all day? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like,
I don't think so. I think that he don't say shit. You know that old man that goes sit in the corner and watch news and the Price is Right all damn day and don't say nothing, and then the woman walking around ranting and raving and talking shit, and you don't even hear her because he can't hear no way, or he turn his hearing aid down. Y'all know them grandpas that do that and just let their wife just do dumb shit and say dumb shit and just act like they don't even hear it. I think he's that dude. I don't think that he responds or has the conversation because he don't talk during the Supreme Court. That's an indicative of probably his life. Like he just yassa. He just sit there, yassa, nod politely, go out in the garden and dig up turnips or walk the dog. I don't think he has a spine. He ain't got a piece of a spine. He ain't got a string of a spine. I think he just sit there and watch the Price is Right all damn day and let her holler and scream and do all of that. So I do not believe that they having a conversation. He just letting her wild the fuck out and make him look like a fool and don't say nothing.
So she like, this case coming up, I'm gonna need you to vote. He go, okay, darling. It's just like simple as that, huh?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I mean, I just think that I think that. Yeah, I think that he's sitting there and he's hearing it though. He's hearing it, right? And then he's voting accordingly. I don't think that there's a call and response or back and forth between the two. I think he hears the shit and he gonna do what fuck it is he doing to keep his household, in a certain way so he can go and sit down and watch The Price is Right. I just truly believe that.
You could definitely have a point there. Okay, so we'll move on. We'll get up to Supreme Court for now. Have you been keeping up with the activities in Ukraine?
Yes. So interestingly enough, yesterday, Tuesdays are county council meetings. And of course, I work for the county council. So the ambassador to Poland actually came and spoke because I guess St. Louis County is bringing in so many refugees from the Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And so he was talking about the Poland took in about 2.5 million people in 4 weeks, taking them into their house, taking them in, giving them services. And one of the interesting things I found out that he said was that people are choosing to go back, after that. And so I think that's very interesting. But I think like the most interesting thing, and husband, you come in. He over here standing by the door. And the most gangster thing is when you the president of a country, put on your uniform to go shoot and fight for your country. Like it shows your gangsterism for your country and shows the bitch assness of the other guy who don't even know half the shit that's going on. And he about that tall anyway. It says everything I need to hear, like, regardless of it all. I just feel like that was some gangster shit. I'm really excited. You know, I'm really happy for Poland to be able to step up. But the most profound thing I'm gonna say, I'm saying a lot of unpopular shit today. Look at this white on white crime. You know, these Europeans, I'm telling you, these Europeans over here, you expect this from a third world country. You expect this from Afghanistan. And oh my God, these Europeans are shooting and killing each other.
Babies.
Did we forget y'all stole all
Babies.
the goddamn country?
Babies. Maternity ward hospitals.
What it feel like? I'm over here clutching my pearls with this white on white crime that y'all got going on. Y'all fighting each other.
Yeah, that's something I hadn't thought about.
Every country in the world, and y'all want us to feel some kind of way. I'm sorry.
That's something I hadn't thought about. But like yourself, you know, the first thing I thought was these Ukrainians are about it, fucking about it.
Say it one more time. I didn't hear it.
I said these Ukrainians are about it, fucking about it.
When your president stood up.
And you know, and even for Zelensky, you know, a guy who acted, you know, was a comedian, you know, I think that you never really know who you are, you know, until something really major happens to you. And I don't know that anyone could be quote unquote built for this. You find out that you're built for it. You know what I'm saying? When you're right in that position. But when I look at like the Klitschko brothers, when I look at other boxers, even, you know, who are world champions from Ukraine, who are out there fighting, people who are, you know, grandfathers, people who've never shot a gun before, you know, are out there fighting. And I'm like, they about their business. They about their business for their land. And you know, to me, you know, it says something to me. I'm not sure what it says yet, but it says something to me. There's a lesson to be learned about truly believing in something, fighting for your land. I don't know that, you know, Americans per se, you know, are about it. I don't know that we're about that life like we say we are. Compared to a country like that, where again, you know, people who, you know, I remember the first couple of weeks, all they had was some guns and some Molotov cocktails. But they had every fucking bottle available. They had Molotov cocktails in it. You know what I'm saying? They blowing up tanks.
But my issue with that is this. You've been threatened with war. I mean, this country has really built itself up technologically. It's become very self-sufficient. It doesn't really require any resources from any outside entities. And Russia been fucking with y'all for years. You would think I would think that you get some kind of security system. You know, if it's my crib and people keep breaking in my car or my house, you know, I'll put an alarm on them, put some cameras out there. You know, you would think that they would have been more prepared from a weapons or biological standpoint than they were. But they ain't scared.
No, they ain't scared. But I think historically they've tried to get into NATO anyway. So, you know, a lot of that is geopolitical. They've tried to get into NATO so that if you attack one, then you attack them all. They haven't, you know, and that's what Putin didn't want, for them to be a NATO ally, because if you fuck with them, then that means you're going to have to fuck with everybody. So, so they've been fighting for that for a long time. But I really think, it's,
aside from that, they need more Molotov cocktail. I'm saying I'm stocking weapons.
Oh yeah, I mean they got them, you know what I'm saying. But I mean Russia just got more of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but, and then I'm wondering too, man, from Putin's perspective, to me, he's already lost. He's already lost.
Yeah.
And it shows just like, because every time you see him, he like on one side of the table, and the table's like 60 feet long, and there's another motherfucker way down there because he don't want nobody close to him because he's scared he's gonna get got. And to me, you tearing the whole motherfucking country up. They ain't gonna never, like, those people are never going to follow you. Ever going, you know what I'm saying? They would never submit. They would never submit. And then not meanwhile, the Russia's economy going in the toilet. Even if he used chemical and biological weapons, I mean, he's already lost. And when Biden said he can't remain in power, you know, I think that's true. I think he's gonna get got. I think eventually he's gonna get got, because this has all just been a bunch of ego bullshit. And you know, when you play that role, you got to play it at the right time. He didn't play it at the right time. He kind of roughshod. You know what I'm saying? It was just real sloppy. Everything was fucking sloppy. You know, in this day and age of internet, you can't do it like the War of Tonkin, like we did in Vietnam, where you just slide some shit in there, slide a few lies in there and start a war. Now you got social media, you know what I mean? You got information that can go all over the world in an instant. So, you know, you just can't pull that bullshit off and then be respectable. The Olympic shit is fucked up. You got everybody's doped up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he didn't just drove the country in the shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even if you win, you can't win. You can't win. Now you're just trying to save face. So I don't know.
He rocks with a Hitler mentality though. And that's going to be his downfall. That is his downfall. And maybe it's because he's 5'2.5". I don't know. No shade on short people, but you know, y'all tend to try to overcompensate for your height. but he has such a Hitler mentality, as if, and who gave him that narcissistic, sociopathic personality? I guess his mama now. But he really, sometimes folks, and it's a Donald Trump feel, and maybe because he rubbed too close to Donald Trump, people feeling like they can just do anything and say anything, and because I'm here, that I'm gonna win anyway, and at what cost? I say all the time, those are two types of people in this world: those who want to be and those who want to do. They are never the same person. You can tell the wannabes from the wanna-dos. The wannabe is sitting over at the end of the table because they don't know what about to touch them, and the wanna-do out there with a goddamn gun looking for them. But this white on white crime has got to stop. I'm telling you, this violence on you white people, y'all got to stop.
For no reason.
No reason. Out here fighting and killing each other and bloodshed. Let me quit.
So now we're still in the news. We're gonna stay in the news, folks. We're gonna go over to sports for a moment. So, sports. Of course, Tom Brady had the shortest retirement of all time. Ho hum.
I saw Tom Brady Instagram with them little badass kids. He went back to work. Woo, them little cheering, one child didn't catch the ball and got to crying like a little girl. I'm sorry.
For real? Oh, yo, I didn't even see that. He's like, fuck, I'm gonna have to get Gronkowski back.
Boy, that bad kid. Ooh, he was like,
I thought I left AB. I thought I left AB. Now I gotta know. Gosh.
That kind of what happened. He's like, I'm going back to work.
I'm not sure how much you hip to this, but I'll just say something about this quickly because I don't know how much you're hip to it or not, or can speak on it. If you can, that's fine. Gambling. So professional sports teams have looked for revenue sources, you know, beyond television and the gate. You know, they're always constantly looking for revenue sources. And the latest has been, you know, the last few years have been betting.
I've seen it.
You know, historically, that was always frowned upon. The reason Pete Rose isn't in the baseball right now is because he gambled and he lied about it. Go all the way back to Shoeless Joe Jackson, the Black Sox scandal. And so I find it very interesting now that between crypto and gambling, all the sports teams have invested themselves into the gambling. You've already had one NFL player who's going to be suspended for a year at least for betting on games.
After he was done playing, betting on the rest of them. Got it.
Right. Right. And I don't know. I don't see how this is going to work. I don't see how sports. I mean, you already had obviously you already had gambling on the low.
Right.
I don't see how you could keep it legitimized, especially when you look at like the Miami Dolphins, who were, you know, Stephen Ross, the owner, was asking Brian Flores to throw games. And that's not just an accusation. I mean, we've all heard for years how teams in the NBA and teams in the NFL have sucked on purpose so they can get a particular player. So how do you jive that
or
with
a draft pick? A draft pick. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. They want to get into a certain draft order. I cannot see how this is sustainable for the fan, you know, who wants his sports to be legitimate. There's just going to be more scandals that's going to come, in my opinion. It's not sustainable. They're in bed though. They having sex. They taking the money. I don't
ain't
see
wearing
how
no
they
rubbers.
it's gonna be some babies and some STDs gonna come out. I mean, that's the way it's gonna happen.
And if you do this, you gotta let Pete Rose back in. You gotta put him in the Hall of Fame. Because the reason why he ain't there, and I'm let me preface this by saying I'm not a sports person. I like boxing and volleyball. But I'm saying is you have blackballed him for the this very reason. Now you have to put him back into consideration. I don't know how good of a player he was or whatever he deserves, but I'm saying now he goes back into the considerations because you banished him for this reason. And now you're allowing it. So what does that leave somebody like him and his legacy? You know, I'm not a gambler. I don't bet. Ain't nothing. If I give you some money, you got to give me something tangible in return, like some liquor or some food or something. I don't know, but
right.
I'm not really big on gambling at all. But I do believe, like, what is that one with where oh my God, that was that one movie about the stone. Adam Sandler was in it. Where so Chris Webber, was it Chris Webber? Baby, what's the name of that player? Yeah, it was a basketball player, and then he bet on his basketball. He ended up dying. It was a really good movie, but it had a lot to do with, okay, he knew this guy, and they were talking about, throwing games in order to gamble.
Oh, no, this was Kevin Garnett. Hidden Gems.
Kevin Garnett. That one. I love that movie. It was so good. Mm-hmm. But it does create the atmosphere that you're talking about. And then people are going to begin to do that. They're going to have their friends betting on it so that they can make some side money, off of it. I don't believe that there's a place for it at all. But if you're going to do it, then you got to bring Pete Rose back into it. Is that what y'all want to do? I don't know Pete Rose personally. I'm just saying.
Baseball
in me says you got to be fair.
No, that's true. That's true. No, baseball is full of hypocrisy, though. So that's from a traditional perspective. They're full of hypocrisy, from steroids to, people talked about performance enhancers and they was all on the steroid, the clear, the cream and all that. But I've always said too, in the 70s, especially 70s, 80s, they was taking greens, they was taking amphetamines because 162 games is a lot of damn games. It's a lot of traveling. It's a lot of stress on your body. So I don't see, it may not have given you power, but if it gave you a super boost to be energetic to get those numbers. Okay. So now, as far as Pete Rose goes, he's arguably the greatest hitter that ever,
I wouldn't know.
Okay. So anyway, so off of that, now I want to talk about something else that I'm going to really need your help with because I may have some blind spots.
You probably ain't going to get it. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll tread cautiously, but boldly. Deshaun Watson. So Deshaun Watson has 22 cases against him. 22 different women, Instagram models, who I guess he DM'd them to get massages for. They all happen to have the same lawyer. They've had 2 grand juries. And one thing about the grand jury is they always say a grand jury can prosecute a ham sandwich or some shit like that. But 2 of them have refused to. Okay. And so when Deshaun signed the richest guaranteed NFL contract in the history of sports, okay, shout out to the civil rights movement.
You ain't shit.
y'all will catch that later. Anyway, when he signed that contract, a lot of women were pissed off about it. Okay. A lot of women in sports where, shows the NFL don't care about women and blah, 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 blah. Technically, I agree with that. However, this subject has bothered me, Shonte, and maybe it's something we could talk about it even in another podcast. To me, when I look at this situation with these, first of all, I just try to look at the whole picture. Okay, number one, we know Deshaun is a freak. Okay, that's his business, but he's a freak. Okay.
Well, y'all know that. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's a freak. That's one thing. We know logically speaking. Okay, I'm just using my logical nuanced thinking. He didn't just want a massage because team has massages. There are massages all over the place. Who, hey, their spas.
You can go to massage in.
In Houston, right? You know,
they got him in Planet Fitness. Go ahead.
They got him everywhere, right? But he didn't seek those out. He didn't seek team massage. He didn't seek a lot of people. Chris Paul, for instance, he has his own massage therapist. He has his own person who stretches him and goes with him everywhere he goes. Excuse me.
That's what money paid for.
That's what the money paid for. So, but Deshaun, obviously, he wasn't interested in knocking the knots out and stuff of his arms and his back and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to get jiggy with it. He wanted to get freaky. So I'm thinking to myself now with these women, okay, if you're an Instagram person and you obviously, you know, this is all about your looks, you know what I'm saying? You want to track whatever you want, you know, and this person DMs you, I'm Deshaun Watson, quarterback of the Houston Texans. You know what I'm saying? Used to play at Clemson, won a national championship. Do you know me? So, you know, I would like to have a massage.
You don't think they bet him?
Right. So I'm thinking, are you thinking to yourself, gee, my name is Susie, and he just sought me out for a massage. Do I have a massage license? No. But it's okay. I think I can do it anyway, right? And then he shows up and he's like, okay, I don't like the big towel. I just want you to get the little face towel. Okay, just get the little face towel right there. You know what I'm saying? You're like, could you get closer to the butt? Could you look closer to my booty right there? Right in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
The masseuse ain't got no massage table neither. Where you massaging them at? I got so many questions.
Right. So I'm thinking to myself, how is this a thing? Because if there's not, they're talking about NFL punishment, blah, blah, blah. If there's no crime, the only way there's a crime is if there's not consent. Okay. Even if, you know, he showed up and you wasn't, you know, if there's not a no, or if no one's intoxicated or not able to give consent, then there's no crime. Okay. Right. So when does it become a woman's responsibility to own or live up to whatever the fuck she chooses to do?
Is that a question? You want me to answer?
Well, yeah.
There are three different things going on here. Mm-hmm. The first thing is he is a freak. He got enough money to just go pay for a massage and a happy ending. And so what that probably tells me is that he has some sort of sexual issue that maybe requires a little therapy. That aside. Right. The second thing is my daddy always told me ain't nothing open past 10 o'clock but White Castles and legs. and so it brings me back to the Mike Tyson. I'm gonna catch hell from people. The Mike Tyson situation.
Wait. Before you go there, your daddy was conservative because my mama was like midnight. My mama said midnight wasn't nothing open but legs. Your daddy was 10 o'clock. Your daddy was conservative as fuck.
Nothing open White Castles and legs.
Your daddy didn't play.
No, he didn't. Ask people who I dated because he almost killed a few of them. But it brings me back to this Mike Tyson thing.
Desiree watched it. Yes.
Yeah, because if you're an Instagram model, not a licensed massage therapist, you're not advertising that you get massages on Instagram. All you doing is sitting there butt naked with your coochie out or whatever it is you're doing on Instagram. Mm-hmm. What you're saying is, I am looking for something. Mm-hmm. And once the DM happened, surely she looked you up and surely she saw a payday and she saw something. Now, I don't know if Deshaun paid these folks after he did all the freaky stuff and the towel and the push the head, you know, all the little stuff that he did or not. Now, the third thing is something I have a problem with. I have 7 children. I'm gonna preface what I'm saying right now. I have 7 children. I have 4 daughters and 3 sons. I taught my daughters that you have the right to say no. Mm-hmm. But that also means don't put yourself in a fucking position that allows you to have to make a decision. If you go over some dude's house at 12 o'clock at night and y'all think y'all just gonna sit and talk, that ain't why the fuck that he calling you over there. You know, if you are going to somewhere by yourself, understand that the motivation is this. You have every right to say no. Get up and leave. I'm giving you the tools on how to say no and how to walk out the situation. But at the same time, it's your responsibility not to get into the damn situation. You know, there are certain things and certain decisions that you got to make when you assess a situation, like at 10 o'clock at night in Mike Tyson's room, or 12 o'clock or 3. You know, she went on 3 in the morning.
It was like 2 in the morning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And you going into Mike Tyson's room. What the hell are you going in there for? I mean, for real, the expectations are that they want to have sex with you after this particular time and under these circumstances. He ain't took you out to dinner. He ain't came and met your mama. He ain't did none of that shit. So what he want to do is get jiggy with it, whatever. Right. I also taught my sons that no means no. I don't know means no. What if my mama find out means no? Any word they say but yes means no. And so you got all these things. So this very rich dude DMs Instagram models for massages. They say, I ain't no massage therapist, but yeah, come on over at 10 o'clock at night and put this little towel on. I don't think there was a crime committed. I think they saw a payday. I think they saw an opportunity. I think they saw an opportunity to be his girlfriend, because all these Instagram models come on there and they think they special and they think they different and they think they, you know, well, he done been through, he got these 12 baby mamas. I'm going to be different because I suck it better, or I do this better, or my cooter is dipped in gold. I don't know what the fuck they be thinking, but it speaks volumes to mama. Going back to my mama, social media is the devil. I mean, the internet is the devil. In as much as now there's this opportunity for you to just put it all out there and for the world to see. And these women don't understand that men don't want that shit. They want to fuck it, but they don't want to have it. They don't want to keep it. It's not something they want, that they value, that they want to, you know, really build a life with. And show me an Instagram model that's now a 20-year married woman, or a 10-year married, or a 5-year married woman that went from Instagram modeling to having this great, wonderful, wholesome life. That's not what men see when they see you out there with your cooter hanging out. You know what I'm saying? That's not what they see. They see an opportunity to have sex. So they put themselves in a position to be taken advantage of, and then they got mad because they got taken advantage of. And that's unfortunate. I don't know what the brother, I think the brother might need a little help. He might have a little sex problem. He might need some, you know, therapy over it. But does it rise to the level of criminality? I don't know. But his dumb ass, who got the highest contract in the history of the world, should just shut the fuck up and hire him some coochie to come over and do massage and do role playing or whatever. He should be smart enough to do that, to stay his ass out of trouble, to keep his money. Okay,
maybe,
sorry.
Maybe he just went random, because then there's no, you know, I can hit it and quit it. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got to call back. But there are people who are down.
You're not anonymous. You ain't Chris from the For Real Though show. You
right. No, that's true. That's true.
They gonna come back to you.
You know, and this is something I've thought about for years. Like, I've known women, you know, who've told me, when I go out with my girls, you know, we have a meet. Right? We have a meet before we go out. What's the meet? Well, the meeting is something like this. Am I going home with somebody tonight? Okay. And they'll say that, look, okay.
We come together, we leave together.
We're gonna come together, we leave together, or they're gonna say, okay, now I may go home with somebody. So then everybody knows, okay, this is like what you're gonna do. If you go home with somebody, I'm gonna need the address, I'm gonna need the number, need you to check.
They got the location thing on their phone. I found out from the cheering.
Right. Or they may say, none of us are doing it, so I don't care what happens. Don't let me go. I don't care if I get fucked up. Don't let me go with nobody. So they've already know how to protect themselves, right? Absolutely. And so to me, like you said, you got sons, you got daughters. Both things can be true at the same time. No does mean no. Like you said, like I love what you said about what you talk to your boys about. I don't know mean no's. What if I'm my mama? Because all those things can be excuses to say I don't want to, even though I may not have the courage.
You don't want to say no.
I flat just don't want to, right? So those are all great things to teach your sons. But it's like, because of the climate that we're in now, it's like, I don't see enough women holding other women accountable to say, hey, no, that shit just, you can't roll like that. You can't roll like that. And as an example, I would say, you know, I'm afraid of the police, right? Now, the funny thing about my relationship with the police is, you know, I work in gyms all the time, high school, game management situations. Every time I see a police officer, I'm gonna walk up to him and speak to him. 9 times out of 10, they ain't even black. 9 times out of 10. Speak to him, I'm gonna wish him well, wish him safety and all of that because I appreciate what they do, you know, blah, blah, blah. At the same time, I'm scared of them. They get behind me in the car for more than a block, I'm scared to death, okay? Now, technically speaking, if I get pulled over, I can cuss the motherfucking cop out. I'd be like, motherfucking bitch, why you pulled me over? It's some bullshit, racist motherfucker, right? Technically, all of my rights, I have a right not to get my ass kicked. I have a right not to get shot, right? However, if I do, then I still put myself in a situation. It doesn't mean that they're right, but I still did not make a wise decision. So before people get to DMing me about how I'm anti-women and pro-rape or some shit like that, you know, it's just logic on logic, right? There's nobody in this world that does everything right. And we're going to get to transgender in a minute. So before transgender swimmer, we're going to get there in a minute too. That's going to really piss some people off. But there's a way to do everything, right? And everything just can't go because you're a group that gets fucked over. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I agree.
You know, you still have some responsibility. And with equality comes accountability and responsibility. So you can't ask for equality when it comes to your body. You should have full autonomy over your body. You should have over your sexuality, over all that. Okay? But you can't play no games with the shit. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to these interpersonal relationships, you can't play games with it and then want people to just take you off the hook and you ain't got no fucking responsibility.
But with life comes responsibility, and I'm real big on that. I mean, and when you're talking about like your body, like with sex, and the things I taught my daughters is it takes 2 to tango, and you ain't dancing by yourself. So, but ultimately, I'm the one that's carrying this baby. I need to take the personal response. Fuck him pulling out. Fuck him wearing a rubber. You know, all of those things. If I don't want a baby inside of my womb, I am going to do what's necessary to make sure that that baby doesn't grow inside of my womb. If whatever that means, it don't mean trusting him. It means birth control. It means me giving you the condom. It means we ain't doing it. It don't mean, you know, leaving that up to him and then saying, oh, he got me pregnant. No, you got pregnant. You got you pregnant. I mean, y'all together because you ain't dancing by yourself. But if it's my body, my choice, it's my body, my responsibility too. You know, and I have to take that responsibility. And I catch hell for this a lot. You know, when I say this, and then even when I say this, you know, about rapists, because, you know, people sometimes blame the victim. Oh, what was she wearing? What was she doing? But there's a time and a place for both of those things. What was she wearing? What was she doing? When a goddamn crazy rapist rapes you under all the, you know, under circumstances because they're a rapist is one thing. But if I'm on Instagram and I'm responding to DMs and I let you come over and I give you a massage at 10 o'clock at night and I ain't no masseuse and I'm in my swimming suit, you know, he has no right, as I tell my kids, if once they say anything other than yes, they saying no, he has no right to force himself on you, but you absolutely should not place yourself in a position to be preyed upon. We all have a responsibility in this. If he broke in your crib and jumped on you, yeah, you got raped. If you invited him in, you dressed a certain way, you thinking you finna get over because he a football player, and then he somehow does some things that makes you uncomfortable, dog, you gotta, you ain't gotta have sex with him, but you have to take responsibility. And then you have to say, get out. You have to call the police, you know, do whatever. Now it becomes an aggressive situation. But if you don't say shit, and then next thing you know, you done suck something or he done did something and you ain't say nothing, you didn't say no, you didn't say any of those things, you can't then cry wolf after the fact because he don't want to date you the second time. because that's what I believe it is. He don't want to call you no more after that. And now you feel like a piece of trash, but you've set yourself on the curb for the trash man.
And I think for that,
and
I think as
yeah,
bad as that feels, it's just one of those things. To me, you learn from it.
you
know what I'm
do.
saying? You learn
Absolutely.
from it, you heal and you learn from it, and then you don't put yourself in that situation anymore. But
Absolutely.
I think as much as men, men, fathers, uncles, cousins, brothers, all of that, as much as we need to instill behaviors, in our young men, I think that because obviously a lot of women ain't gonna want to listen to me. I'm a dude, you know what I mean? But I don't think I'm speaking out of pocket, you know what I'm saying? Because again, I got a mama. You know what I'm saying? I got daughters, you know what I mean? I got granddaughters, you know what I mean? So it ain't like, can't nobody accuse me of nothing like that, you know what I mean? But I felt the same way about Desiree Washington. Even back in that day, I was like, oh, Patricia Gifford was gonna get her ass. They was in Indiana, he was gonna get her. They was gonna get him, period. You know what I'm saying? And I read a lot about that case in particular, like a lot about that case. It was just all
I
bullshit.
did too.
It was a lot of bullshit. So
Yeah, and it's unfortunate.
moving on. Before we move on, did you want to say anything else about that?
No, it's just unfortunate. I mean, I do believe that he really needs to address whatever his sexual urges are, in the sense that makes him not be reckless, because he's real reckless, if not predatory. I'm not sure what he is, because I don't know the brother like that. But I feel so sorry for these women who prostitute themselves on Instagram. And that's the only word I can use, because we were always taught, and I'm not teaching modesty, but we were always taught that you have to save some portion of yourself for the person that wants to be your husband, and I think that, this internet allows for people to portray this way about yourselves, to put these filters on your face and your body, and to do all of these things. And women are so beautiful. We are so beautiful inside and out. We're smart. We're all these things. Why do we have to come off in the way that we do on Instagram in order to have football players and professional athletes and people like that in our DMs? Say the shit out loud. Why you have me in my DM? So that's another story. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's another story. So So only thing we're advocating for people is just, hey man, just make wise decisions. Take
personal responsibility.
And one of the things I always say, one of the worst things you can do is play yourself, right? I've done it. A lot of, and most of us, I think, have done it in some way or another. Well, I just want to go over there and watch DVCR. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn, what ain't what you want to go over there for. So don't play yourself. You know what I'm saying? Tell yourself the goddamn truth. That way, no matter what happens, your eyes are wide open. You know what I'm saying? And you're not sitting there with the walking of shame, what they call the walk of shame later. You know what I mean? Because guys have a walk of shame too. Don't let them, don't get it twisted. Guys and women both have the walk of shame. It's happened. So, but the walk of shame always happens when people don't think first. When they play themselves, when they play their own selves, the Jedi mind tricks. Leah Thomas. You know who Leah Thomas is?
Oh, that's her name. What was her boy name? I remember his name. I couldn't remember her name.
I don't remember the boy name, but a lot of controversy. A lot of controversy about the swimming, the records, the competition. And again, I just, me myself, it's the first time I'm talking about it. I just kind of been sitting back, chilling on it. For the record, for those who don't know me, hey, I'm not a hater. So I'm down for everybody living their best life. You understand? When it comes to Ron DeSantis and Florida laws about don't say gay, and you got to out a student if he says that he's not sure about his sexuality or she, that's all some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
How about that?
If you want to be, if you trans, that's cool with me. There are people who are hermaphrodites, so they have part sexual organ male, part sexual organ female. So we don't, I don't think that people get to make that choice for other people, period. Right? So I'm all for you living your best life. With that being said, that being said, that don't mean you have to do every fucking thing. I don't mean you gotta do everything. So when Leah Thomas is swimming, and let me just read these stats. During the last season, Thomas competed as a member of the Penn's men's team. 2018-2019, she ranked 554th in the 200 freestyle, 65th in the 500 freestyle, and 32nd in the 1650 freestyle. As career rap, she moved to 5th, 1st, and 8th in those respective events in the women's heat. So I was telling somebody about this the other day. I was thinking about it. I said, well, you know, if you gave LeBron James in his prime a year's worth of hormone medicine, right, treatment, whatever, and then she played in the NBA, WNBA, or women's sports, you can't tell me it's not going to be an advantage, a physical advantage, right? So all the people who are apologists saying it doesn't matter, you know, blah, 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 she's just much of a girl, blah, blah. In that sport or in that arena, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. There is an advantage. There's a physical advantage. It doesn't mean that every man, because look, I did a lacrosse match last week, and they had a transgender girl, you know, boy to a girl on one of the teams. Okay. So, and that person was really small, frail, and there was some girls that were bigger than he was, you know, bigger than she was, right? So I have to get my pronouns together. Still getting used to that. So it's not to say that it goes all the way around in every sphere, but in this particular case, that's a big girl. You muted? Are you muted? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay, I can hear me, but see, ever since we started this, okay, I was gonna say, ever since we started the sponsorship thing, man, our shit's been getting fucked up. I don't know, but anyway, so there's a difference, and I don't think So listen, when I used to play basketball back in the day, we had this team called the Blazers. You remember because Kevin played with the Blazers. Kevin will tell you.
In the audience.
Okay, so you know this. You remember we used to play the Pack, and the Pack was our rival. For people who don't know, this was like in the early '90s, and we were always the two best teams. And they would always match us up at the end because everybody knew we was two best teams. Everybody from the city, all over the area, used to come and watch us play.
It would be packed in there, y'all.
It was packed. So, but what the Pack would do, so I had my squad, we had like 8 or 9 guys. What the Pack would do, they would bring in ringers. So they had like 15 dudes, right? And I scout them and shit, so we have a game plan. And then when the game time came, they come in with 3 other motherfuckers, 6'6", 6'8", 6'5", you know what I'm saying? And would play against us. Now, I don't think we ever beat them dudes, but they would always get us like at the end. It was always some shit at the very end. I remember my man Ollie hit this fade away, high ass shot over us, man, as time expired, right? And I remember after the game, I would never get them cats props, because they brought in ringers, right? I'm like, and so I would say to myself, how do you get satisfaction out of that, right? The guys who ran the team, Tony and this guy, this other guy, I forgot his name, but I used to think to themselves, how can y'all look at yourself in the mirror and say, man, we did something? Because you went and got some niggas off the street to play against us. I submit to you that Leah Thomas is a ringer. She's a ringer, okay? And just because you can do something, don't mean you should do something. And I don't see how she gets a whole lot of satisfaction. Well, when I was over here with the dudes, you know, I'm 500 and something. Now I'm over here finishing first. That don't make me anti-trans, yo. That don't make me anti-trans. And there's got to be a way that we can talk about these things without somebody thinking that you're a bigot, because it's not like, yeah, I'm not defaming her choices. I'm not defaming her, you know, sexual proclivities or anything like that. You know, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? But does that mean you got to compete against other natural born women as if you don't have, as if all of your testosterone building traits from all your life has suddenly disappeared? that's the best. I'm trying to use my words carefully, as you can see.
You
Because,
don't have to use your words carefully because it's the For Real Though show.
okay, but I'm just saying,
Anyway,
I want to be
for real,
understood more
though.
than I want. In other words, I'm trying to be understood more than just saying some shit and offending people. You know what I'm saying? But I think if you're offended by what I'm saying now, then that's on you, because obviously you ain't trying. But I just, you can't have it both ways.
You absolutely cannot. But I will say that with every choice that you make, there are oftentimes consequences. I tell my kids that. You make a conscientious decision.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You're on mute. I can see your thing says mute.
Muted me. You keep muting me.
I didn't mute you. I'm not touching nothing.
Now you're muted. So
no, I'm not touching nothing.
Anyway, for every
I'm not touching nothing. So you go ahead. But I can barely hear you now. But
I can't hear you.
There you
keep
go.
talking.
You go.
Okay.
Go.
So with that being said, if you make a conscientious decision, I in no way, I have some of the best gay friends. I have a couple of transgender friends. And I find it interesting because my gay friends, and if you look at my YouTube channel, I'm not even shamelessly plugging CNS for Life. I had a lesbian who was on my show who talked about,
I remember that was a great show. That was a great show.
We touched on this very thing, and her thoughts are similar to mine. When you make a conscientious decision, now you have to live with whatever consequence or whatever fallout comes from a conscientious decision. So, and this is humans. This ain't gay, straight. This ain't nothing. This is humans. So if I decide that I don't feel comfortable in my body and I want to become a woman, great, go become a woman. The side effect of that is you can't have babies. Right? So that's nothing you can help. You can't have babies. So do you go scream, oh, it's unfair, I can't have babies, but you've made this conscientious decision. So I place it like this, as such, that now you've made this conscientious decision to do that, and that's perfectly okay. But now you have to live within the confines of a certain ruling. So this Leah chick, from my understanding, most of the time, I guess the NCAA had some rules about 3 years, and you got to test to see your hormone level. And apparently she's only been transgender for 1 year. If she was transgender for 5 years, her shoulder width don't change. Right. Her wingspan doesn't change in swimming. It is her build as a man does not change. And the build of a man is significantly different than the build of a woman. How they walk, I mean, just all of these things are significantly different. So no matter how many hormones you take, so you may place 546 as a man. Once you change over, you might be 856. But that doesn't give you the right to be number one in the women's division. And so a lot of my gay friends and my transgender friends say the same thing, is that we've made a choice and now we have to live with that. There's some certain shit I just can't do. I can't wear certain clothes. I can't have babies. Even men women who are transforming into men, they can't make babies. So there are consequences to the decisions that you make. If this makes you happy, I ain't got no problem with it. Let me say that. That's perfectly fine. But you cannot then scream, no fair. Oh, you can't scream discrimination. You can't scream all of these things, because what you're doing is against the norm and it's against the grain. You're doing something that has not been done before. There's been talk about leagues specifically for transgenders, but that's not enough people to make a league, everywhere and across the country. There are not enough people to populate that. So now, as someone who is changing over, now you got to count up the costs. And when you're counting up the costs in every decision you make as a human being, not as gay, straight, black, white, nothing, as a human being, when you sit and count up the cost of a decision that you're trying to make, you have to factor in all of those things. And you got to be willing to live with the fact that I can't do this shit no more because I made this decision. And as humans, Chris, we didn't have these problems in the 80s and 70s and 60s, you know, or even the 90s. But it seems like in this millennial situation, everybody want their cake, ice cream, whipped cream, cherry on top. They want some nuts sprinkled on that motherfucker, some extra sprinkles, and they want to eat. You can't have it every way you want it. And you can't cry foul because you can't get it every way you want it. There are rules to this shit. There are rules to everything. And you can't make the rules up as you go along. You can work to try to change rules that are unfair. And what is unfair is a woman who has worked her entire life to be in a position that she is, for a man to decide they want to be a woman and have a big ass wingspan, because fuck the hormones, had this big ass wingspan, and take away from her opportunities. As a transgender, you should feel a certain kind of way. You should be like, I ain't even gonna do that, dog. I ain't even gonna take that.
Exactly.
I'm not
See,
even
this
gonna
remind me of some Caitlyn Jenner shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This remind me of some Caitlyn Jenner shit, and which I ain't never had no respect for. You know what I'm saying? Never. So
I ain't never cared enough to respect.
Right. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I still be calling him Bruce. You know what I'm saying? That's how much I can't stand.
Mama named him Bruce, I'm gonna call him Bruce.
Call him Bruce. So but so it's like this, and this may be a silly reference, but I'm gonna just say it anyway because I thought about it this way. Okay, so if I said, you know what, I didn't really have a childhood growing up. You know what I mean? I didn't have a childhood growing up. I was always had to babysit my brothers and sisters right off the top. I had to cook, clean, blah 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 blah. Now I want to be a child. I identify as a 12-year-old. Okay, now I got a right to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean I get to suit up and play football against other 12-year-olds?
Or lay down in the bed with them? Ain't that what they tried to put Michael Jackson in jail for?
Boom. So, in other words, Leah Thomas, you're no Rosa Parks. Sorry. Now, sorry, you're no Rosa Parks.
You shouldn't want to take
right.
something
because again, what are you getting
somebody
out of
else.
Yeah, what are you getting out of it? Like I said, I would be like, what do you get out of it? You can't be like, well, I just, stop. Anyway.
It's not, and there are no equal rights when you've made a conscientious decision. You don't get to scream equal rights or no fair or my.
You muted.
Or any of those things. You don't get to scream that shit when you've made a decision to do something that is against the grain. Then you need to just say, okay, I want to do this, and I know that in doing this, I can't do X, Y, and Z, and just living with it.
Just live with it.
Whining and wanting to, I just, it's these new kids, or I call them these new kids. They want everything at no cost, at no cost, and everything costs something. And we didn't teach our kids that everything. Well, I did, but we didn't teach our kids that everything comes at a cost. Nothing is free, nothing. And so take your wingspan and go sit your ass down somewhere. Sorry.
All right, so I had two more topics, but we're going to cover one. I'm going to let you choose. I'm going to let you choose. Unless we go rapid fire. We can do two if we go rapid fire. Okay. Will and Chris and Kanye.
I don't like Kanye enough to care. Kanye is a stalker. He got what he got.
You said what I was gonna say. So cool.
He got what he paid for.
Okay.
Kim got what she paid for. Let's move.
Okay. So my quick rapid fire about Kanye is: Black people, we as Black people, do not know how to talk nuance about Black celebrities. We're either all the way on them, like they're heroes no matter what, aka Cos, Cosby, that sort of thing. He was gonna buy NBC, you know what I'm saying? Or, we slam them, but we can't say, hey, great artist, also a stalker. Great artist, also a rapist. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't
therapy.
Right. We don't seem to know how to do that. I wish we would. I wish we could. When I look at Kanye making videos about killing Pete Davidson and all this other kind of shit, and I put myself in Kim's position, and I say, Kim, I have to say, man, Kim is a G, because I know what she's doing. She's silent because she's trying to protect her children. You know what I'm saying? She's a mother literally just trying to protect her children against this crazy ass Black man. You know what I'm saying? And So I know that's why she chilling. And I know that's why Pete ain't really said nothing, you know. So DL, your boy said something, obviously.
I love DL.
Yeah. And he was like, hey, just come to Calabasas and get me then if that's what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And of course, as all bullies, you ain't heard shit else from Kanye. See what I'm saying?
DL about that life.
DL about that life. Oh, okay, I'm from LA. Shit, you know what I'm saying? You from Chicago, bring it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, right? But he's right. He was right to do this stalking. Okay, so Will and Chris, your thoughts first.
Everybody can be right and everybody can be wrong at the same damn time. I just really, really believe that. I think that I am for Will, he loves his wife. And no matter what you'd say about their relationship or whatever, that ain't our damn business. He loves his wife and he saw hurt in her eyes and he saw something. He was under a whole lot of pressure. When you read his book, it's like, oh my God, this traumatized childhood, right?
I did.
And then you look at this lobbying that you do to have an Oscar, and Will being so clean cut, and Will being everybody's meme, and all of that culminated into a really fucked up situation that at first I said, oh, they made that shit up because Chris took that shit too good. You know what I'm saying? Then he walked out. Then I said, let me roll that tape back because I didn't even see it. My son showed it to me. I said, let me see his face when he walks off. Because when you see his face when he walks off, first of all, you turned your back on the man, so and you mad. So you already established as a black, you don't know about you white folks, but black men, if you slap the shit out of a motherfucker and turn around and walk off, you daring this Negro to do something else, you know? Yes. And I'm like, this is really bad. My husband has in politics, I have been placed in positions where I've been disrespected by men, and my husband don't play that shit. And sometimes I was wrong, but that don't mean he don't play that shit. They go 100%, out the car on the way home.
100%.
He gonna cuss me out the car. We gonna have 100%. Problems on the way home. Exactly. But what you ain't finna do is disrespect my wife in public. You're not gonna disrespect my wife, period. But you damn sure ain't gonna disrespect her in public. So I get that. That being said, Chris, I am so like in awe, and he's an Aquarius, by the way. So in awe of how he took it, and then in that instant, like you could see his face, because I now saw the little stills, you could see his face. What the fuck is going on? And maybe he playing, and maybe he ain't. And in the stun of, is he fucking with me, or did he slap the shit out of me? You still maintained your composure. And the show went on. Now he probably shouldn't have said it was a joke. He probably shouldn't have said that shit because he probably got his ass beat again. but he maintained the composure, because if it were me and Will be still fighting right now. I'd be trying to whoop this motherfucker ass the whole time. Then, oh my God, these niggas that came and tore up the Oscars. You get a black director. You got black people hosting. You get these niggas.
Poor Will Packer. Poor Will Packer.
They tore up the Oscars. But Chris was the grown-up in the situation. And I'm so, happy that at that moment, he was able to be the grown-up in the situation and be like, you know what? They ain't gonna have us out here acting like this. I mean, in a split second, because he ain't had no time to think about the shit. You know what I'm saying? In a split second, he was a grown-up in the situation. They were both right. And they were both wrong. Because I'm not even gonna front like Chris Rock knew about alopecia. Because half the people, who the fuck got time to sit down and watch Red Table Talk to know she got alopecia? You got to really be invested in Will and Jada to know about alopecia or not. So I will honestly say that maybe he did, maybe he didn't. And if he didn't, if he didn't, damn, Chris got slapped for no reason. But if he did, now it's fucked up for you to say. But he was right in how he handled it. And Will was right and not right in how he reacted. He was wrong and slapped shit out of him. But he was right for standing up for his wife. So it's just a damn. Can we just all get along? Can we all just get along? So that's my position on it. What is yours, Christopher?
Well, first I was just shocked. because I didn't see it live. I never watched the Oscars. I hardly watch any award shows for years, probably for a couple of decades. But I got, my social media was blowing up, my text was blowing up and stuff. So I saw it in the morning, the Japanese version, so you can see the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So I was just shocked initially. And then what got me again, like kind of like what I said about Kanye, is people's reaction to it. Black
That's
people's
another story.
reaction. Yeah, black people's reaction. Some people are like, "Hey, he did the right thing, stand up for your woman." Other people was like, "That's some bullshit. You ain't say nothing to August and all that other kind of shit." You know what I'm saying?
I ain't even addressed that.
Yeah, and then I thought, so I thought a couple things about just history. When Chris made the joke about Rihanna's panties a few years ago,
Yeah.
I thought that was so. For Black people, we have our barbershop conversations, right? And there's a lot of things that white people talk about with us that we don't let them talk about because we ain't gonna be having it. But in our own spaces, we talk about them, right? And so at the Oscars So White time, for Chris to get up there and say, "Yeah, Jada, talking about she gonna boycott," but that's like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. Like, to me, that's a barbershop joke. That's a joke for Black audiences. And you know what Black audience is gonna do if he came down to the Kill or whatever it's called now, if he came to the Apollo, any Black audience, we gonna be bugging the fuck up. We gonna be cracking up, holding our bellies, laughing at this shit. Oh, hey, she's really funny. You got
It
that
ain't
right.
white funny.
What she is, right? You don't tell that joke in front of white folks
It ain't white funny.
because we really were standing up for something. Oscar So White meant something. You know what I'm saying?
And here we are in 2022
Right.
living Oscar So White, right?
Exactly.
This is the fallout from Oscar So White.
Exactly. So to me, that was one thing. And I'm thinking, okay, that's poor taste. Another thing that Chris rubbed me the wrong way with was his conversation he had with Louis C.K. about, him being the niggerest white man that he knows. And Louis C.K. was like, "Nigger this, nigger that." Yeah, I say nigger all the time. I don't know if you saw that or not. If you hadn't, I will.
I didn't.
Okay, so hold tight.
He let that white man say nigga?
What I am going to do for you, because maybe our audience hasn't seen it either, if you guys can give me a moment, I will pull it up. Hold on.
Clutching my pearls in real life. What?
Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up.
Ever since Poogie got his teeth fixed, he been hacking funny. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
No. Here, I Google it. No. Let that white man say that. No. I don't watch TV America. I really don't.
I'm splitting the screen with someone on, so I hope you can do it. If I can't, then you can probably hear it. Let's see.
Fine.
They're just
Can you hear it?
over and over. Even their kids are rich. When a black guy,
you can hear it?
Uh-huh. It went down a little bit. I can't hear it now. So that was in 2018? No. Oh, yeah, I see it now. Okay. He repeatedly used it. Well, anyway, that's what he did.
Yeah,
so he used it. 2011. I'm looking at it now. That's crazy. I don't think he says it. He says it in private very much. Hell nah. No. Yeah, so I can't hear it. But apparently
can't hear
Rock
it.
says Rock says you are the niggerest fucking white man I have ever known. Who does that?
Yeah. And so Chris was like, cool. And Jerry Seinfeld was like, yeah, well, I don't see it.
The niggerest fucking white man. That's what Chris Rock said to him.
Yeah. So anyway, so I say that to say sometimes I think some I'm sorry, I didn't want to bust your bubble. I didn't want to bust your bubble, but you know, sometimes, man, I think comedians think that there's an assault on their art these days. That could or could not be true. I don't know. But I just think everything evolves. Everything evolves. And comedy certainly has to evolve with everything else. It's not going to necessarily be the same as, you know, Dick Gregory or Red Fox or even Richard Pryor. You know, it's not exactly the same thing. So I think that comedians in their grit, you know, especially like, you know, somebody like Chris Rock, man, if you got a $50 million house on jokes, you know what I'm saying? You tend to think, you know, you're invincible. You know what I mean? You can pretty much say whatever. So I don't know. I agree with you though. I think the further I get away from it, the more hurt and disappointed I am just for the scene.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in front of white people. Not necessarily in front of white people even, just between us. Just between us. And I did, like you said, I did read Will's book as well. And I know that how he felt helpless, you know, with his mom and that kind of thing. And you know, the cat still is from West Philly. So all that soft shit, you know what I'm saying? All that soft shit.
They've been making them out to be soft because of the August thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't know.
As a matter of fact, so you remember
they tested this gangster one too many times.
Right. You remember when so you read the book. Did you finish? So you know about Charlie Mack. So you know, shit, if Charlie Mack was there, boy, it'd have really been some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Charlie Mack is, remember Charlie Mack was, I'll get my face on the toilet. I'm getting my face on the toilet. Did I get my face on the toilet? When he was in South Africa. So no, man, you know, the further I get away from it, you know, I'm glad that they both apologized. And even Chris, you know, Chris apologized, said, hey, I shouldn't have said, you know. So
according to his people, that didn't happen. And that was
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
According to his people, that didn't happen. And who says he really? So I agree, and DL talks about this a lot. I do agree with him in as much as him and Dave Chappelle say the same thing. I'm a comic. I'm not apologizing for the joke I told. And you shouldn't apologize for the joke you told. You could go to Jada and be like, hey, baby, I ain't even know. I just saw your bald head and went on. You know, and went in. I ain't even know. You're not apologizing for the joke. You're apologizing for the way it made you feel because I didn't know that you're sensitive to that thing. The first time you start apologizing for telling jokes, then it puts you in a bag where now everybody's sensitive. I'm not tall enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. You know, and I think comedians get a pass to a degree, a pass all the way up until it becomes really, really bad. Like white men shouldn't say nigga, you know, like that kind of bad. You shouldn't be, you know, speaking outside of the context in which you live. Like, you know, a DL could say nigga, 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 nigga. Seinfeld could not say that, you know. So, but I think that comedy exists to be funny. We laugh at our pain. We create jokes at the expense of others sometimes. I don't think that he should apologize for the joke. But I think he should get on the phone and be like, dang, girl, I ain't know. If he did know, he an asshole. If he did know, he wrong as hell. But I don't think he should apologize for telling a joke, you know, because DL pick people out the goddamn audience. It could be somebody who was bald-headed or you know, who had bumps on their face or something like that. But you know that it's to be expected, you know, in the context of it all. for a comedian. So I do not think that he should. I'm really disappointed in what I just read about the nigga part. But I do think that they need to have a conversation. I just really think that they need a conversation about it. But I'm just really glad. Obviously, Chris Rock ain't got it in him to punch Will Smith back in the face. That's why Will walked away. Didn't even turn around. He was like, oh, no wonder. That explains it.
And finally, my final thought on it is I'm not here for the sanctimoniousness that I've been seeing on television. You know what I'm saying?
We all human.
There's no excuse for violence. And what he did was just, like Kareem talking about it's abuse against women. I'm sorry, did he hit Jada? You know what I'm saying? Like,
we all human. We do shit. We wild out.
There was one comedian, I don't know, it was one of the late night comedians that was like, yeah, he was laughing about it at first. So he was bashing him for laughing at it first. I'm like, you don't know niggas. Because niggas be like, oh, ha, 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 oh, yeah, funny,
still love on you.
And then, you know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, it's, like, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why that sanctimonious shit don't crack. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Because
we gotta stop acting like we ain't never popped off. Like we ain't never been human. And I have aired a bitch out. I have aired a spot out before, and I was 100% wrong. It was over something I thought I knew. You know what I'm saying? And I had to be man enough to say I'm sorry. After the fact. But there's not a human on this planet that ain't did some shit that they are instantly regretful for, and just the world didn't see it. They just didn't do it on the world stage. But because you didn't do it on the world stage, don't make it any better than what he did. Had he did that on the corner of Shreve and Lee, you know what I'm saying? Nobody would know about it. But that makes him here, and they be like, oh, go on, get Willis, y'all go and hug it out, But because it was on the world stage, and then can we talk about one more thing? I was thinking about this, and we were talking about, because they was talking about taking Will's Oscar away, and then you go back, and I'm thinking
that ain't gonna happen.
Harvey Weinstein, Roman Polanski, but then this thing surfaced that I saw probably about a year ago again, but then I forgot about. Then I saw again when Marlon Brando rejected the Oscar for Godfather. He sent that Indian woman, a Native American woman, up to the podium to explain why he was not accepting this Oscar because of the portrayal of Native Americans and how she was booed, how Clint Eastwood ridiculed her. And then I didn't know, like in the audience, it took 6 people to hold back John Wayne from running up on the stage. And so when you talk about taking an Oscar because he didn't slap the shit out of somebody, when you look at all of the other, Hattie McDaniel couldn't even sit with her people when during the Oscars, when she won the Oscars, they wouldn't even let her in the house. She had to go sit in the back, with the other people. Are we for real now? And then they want to do this. We get some black people hosting and directing, and look at what y'all did, So I just think that it's, people's response, and people forget that they're human, and they become sanctimonious because they forgot the shit that didn't nobody see that they did when they aired a spot out. Because somebody aired something out at one time or another, and they like.
As a man, as a referee, I could tell you, there are times when I aired somebody out and they should have got aired out. There are times when I just came in, it was the wrong day, and I aired somebody out. And you know what? Man enough to be human. Yeah. I've told men players, hey, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Brother, my bad. You know what I mean? I should have came at you like that. I apologize. You know what I'm saying? So we do have to allow that's why
we gotta give grace.
That's what I hate about the social media space, because it's so extreme one way to the other, as opposed to just allowing people to be human and just
and to give them grace. Give them grace and mercy. And people, we don't offer grace and mercy in this world anymore. Like is canceled and all that. Yeah, fuck you. Cancel me.
Right.
I'm gonna be canceled after this episode.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've already been told I was gonna be fired for this episode, but that's okay. Anyway,
That's
so
all right. You got Queso. What?
right, yeah, I got a job somewhere.
I got $37.12.
So anyway, so I want to thank you again for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Hey guys, we're sorry for some of the sound issues that we've had. We don't know. It's technology. Sometimes these things happen. We apologize for that. But we want to thank our guest once again, Shonte Young, as well as our new sponsor. Okay, so what? You got our information. You want to shout them out one more time? Tell us how they can find you in St. Louis?
Queso what? QUESOWHAAT. Queso what? On Facebook. Queso_what on Instagram. Shonte Harmon Young on Facebook. 314-341-7734 if you want to book me, or check out our pop-up events that are coming up on social. Well, they're already happening constantly. After this Sunday, we've been popping up. We'll have one on April 30th, and we're doing a Kentucky Derby May 7th. I'm very excited about that. So we'll do an outdoor event. They're gonna have horses and everything.
You got your hats and your outfits on and everything. So tell us this, because we didn't talk about this before.
I'm gonna be slinging quesadillas.
We didn't talk about this before, but to kick this shit off right. What do you say? The first five people that come to you and mention the For Real Though show. What we gonna give them? What kind of percentages they gonna get?
They gonna get a percentage?
Yeah.
Wait. So if you mention the For Real Though show, you could get 20% off your order, your entire order, because you might want 6 or 7 quesadillas.
Okay.
If you mention a specific topic and what we said on the For Real Though show, you can buy one and get one free.
See what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about. See, we just came up with that right off the cuff. Came around the cuff. Real sponsorship, people. Hey, real shit out here. So y'all, for real, I ain't bullshitting y'all, man. I wouldn't put my name on nothing like this if it wasn't the truth.
I wouldn't put my name on it either.
This food is the truth. It's the truth. You won't be sorry. I'm telling you, they've never had an event that they did not sell out, that they did not run out of product. Period. That's a fact.
Don't holler.
I'll let your girl. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you, Shonte.
Thank you,
I got a lacrosse match
you.
to do. Love you back. Tell Cornell and all the kids I said, what up?
I shall.
All right, keep it real, y'all. Stay safe. Peace.